Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our 36th stratagem as a special edition of the year. And my gift to you for this year, either you have been following me for a while or you newly joined. And I want to make Chinese as the language and also culture, make it make sense for you, because I've been speaking the two languages and have this vantage point of looking at Chinese, my native language, from the perspective of English. Okay, so last time we talked about 反客为主, which is reverse this role. You as a guest, as a newbie in a place, and then turn yourself into the host as like not exactly owner, but have more and more ownership, earn more credibility. So as a strategy, yesterday I didn't really explain, but as a strategy of like a wartime, right? How to win in the situation is someone who entered as a guest role, but eventually take part in decision making. And from this decision-making role extended the influence and gradually become more and more the source of authority, or, the thinker, and then take the role of this ownership. Okay, today we're going to have 上屋抽梯. Okay, you can kind of see, like, when I pronounce it, I kind of hesitate. I have to read it out. It doesn't just come out of my mouth like that. I have to read it. The reason why is because without doing the 36 stratagem on One Word a Day program, I wouldn't even notice this phrase. Like, we don't even use it in our daily language, but somehow it was preserved in the 36 stratagem. Like 上屋抽梯, never heard of it before. Amazing, right? I've been using this language all my life and never heard of this expression. But this was classified as one of the strategies. Okay, 上屋抽梯. Basically, it's a trap. So if you want to capture somebody, you want to make them get into the room. And then you remove the ladder so that person cannot get out of there anymore. So you kind of trap that person in the room. So that's the whole image. I guess we don't really have a corresponding, if we don't use this concept in our language, contemporary Chinese, I don't hear it. I couldn't come up with we have a 关门大狗, which is kind of different, but probably serve the purpose of most time, because 关门大狗is, again, like closing the door, and then you beat up the dog. So the dog is kind of like whoever you want to abuse or capture, and then you close the door, so the dog has no way to run out. So that's probably more approachable as a language expression. But the 上屋抽梯 depict of this, entice somebody and some unsuspecting party, enticing them to get into the room. I guess the room look good or have some food or something to attract them in. And then you do this action of capture them by removing the leather. Okay, 上, we have very, it's not lopsided, upside down letter T in English, right? So letter T upside down. We have horizontal line here, means the benchmark or the ground level truth. I'm putting up stuff. Okay, and then the vertical line means it's an indicator to mean the language creator wanted to see the top, the space above this line. So 上 originally, just a simple structure like that to indicate that's anywhere above this benchmark. So basically it's over, on top of, above. So English, we have all kinds of expressions, right? And Chinese, we just have 上, like on top of something. And 上 eventually got this call it a complication process. So besides the language will make it simpler and simpler, but sometimes it's too simple. It's just 2 strokes, right? It looks too simple to be a character, and could be sometimes be confused with some other things. Imagine some random ink drop onto it and could turn it into some other word. So to reduce that chance of being confused as another character, so eventually this horizontal line was added. And when I added, not only it means positional wise, it's above this ground level, the benchmark, but also trend wise, like dynamically, that means going upwards, like that's the direction to go. So here, up room, that means going up into the room. So I imagine back then the room here is kind of above the ground level. I guess, so you imagine a tree house. So it's built above the ground level. And then, I mean, off ground, the structure is necessary, right? To stay away from bugs and all that, things that you want to stay away from. So have a structure above ground level, up elevated is probably needed, right? So we have to use this up action to means like going upward. And we have this. Well, this structure could mean dead body. So we have a big head and then the unmoving. Excuse me. I'm not going to re-record it. You're just going to hear my sneeze. Sorry. We have this unmoving body we have a super simplified and abstracted something unmoving, and then we have this head portion. But in this context, it means room, like how to understand that. So some language creators, I mean, scholars trying to read this structure as kind of like the top left corner of it often occur in a language, like, yeah, like over here, we have this structure, right? This top left corner, and here we have top left corner. We just have an extra fold on top of that. So it kind of means a half covered place. So it's a kind of a space, give you a space sense. I mean, scholars, we have to come up with some, I mean, not that I'm a scholar, but somebody who studied the language for a long time to theorize like why Wu was created with this structure plus that, right? So it could mean like spatially it's half like a shaded area, or at least something over the top, hover. It's not a fully like a dome with a chimney, like a fully enclosed domestic space, but at least it's a half covered. But I still want to keep it simple, read it as a body, because room is where you park your body, right? you rest in there, not necessarily dead, but when you're sleeping, it's kind of like a dead body in that space. So this is where you park your body, a parking lot for your body, room, right? If we think about that. So it's a private space that it's safe enough for you to park your body. Okay. And then the inside here, the contemporary simplified into this, but originally, wow, that's a beautiful image. We have in the image, we kind of see this cup holder of the candle wax, right? This is the holder of that. So this is kind of a holder, similar looking, like a deeper holder cup of something. And then we have the ground level, things like that. Sometimes the language, they turn straight line into curved line. And if we take away this portion, this almost like pink ribbon kind of symbol upside down, if we take away that, only see this structure, it looks like that wine glass, right? But if we turn this curved line, flatten it, it becomes the soil symbol. And the soil symbol means the ground level. So the whole thing is the ground level. Okay, so I just want to point out this curved line, if turned into horizontal line, it will look like this. So the bottom, two horizontal lines with one vertical line, and exactly like this line doesn't go over, because if it go over, it becomes something else. It stopped right there, but it go over the first line above, like proportionally kind of look like that, right? Two horizontal lines plus one vertical line and kind of look like this, like you don't go over at the bottom. So this is our soil symbol. So this is the ground level. So I'm just saying we flatten that. That is our soil, that's our ground. And then this ribbon looking upside down looking thing is the bird symbol. Again, this is some imagination of scholars, like how to explain this. So bird is convincing enough for me, at least it make the story full. This is upside down flying bird. So here is the wings, the flapping side, and then this is the beak of the bird. This is the body, right? So this is a bird flying toward the ground. So ground, flying bird. Remember, we have this no character that is a bird flying toward the sky. So that's our no symbol, means the bird refuse to go back down to the ground. It's going, keep going toward the sky. And here is the opposite option. It's going to the ground level, the bird going upside down toward the ground. So that means the bird is coming to you instead of away from you. So coming to the ground, closer to the observer. I mean, the language, whatever perspective is, at the point, it means, we as the humans, we stay on the ground, right? So ground level, the bird coming to you. So that kind of bird coming to you is this arriving or reaching or, simply coming to. So this is our arrival, or to, like some either from, wait, is it from or to? I guess it's to. It's more reasonable because the ground is the destination. It's not the departure point. So it's bird flying to the ground. So it's more like to, the English to concept. So a space where you park your body, sleeping supposedly, you can still wake up the next morning, and then where you come to, like that's where you're going toward to, right? So that to, that body parking lot is our room concept. I hope I make the story full. That's our room. And remove, okay, remove, we have this 5-finger hand symbol on the left side, and the right side here, according to some scholar, that means locked up a door. So this is like domestic, this is basically two panel door in a locking position. So closed door. So basically this is a closed door, and this is farming field, which is a space cut up into 4. So quartered space is the field, because farming land back then was rationed, and everybody got a small piece of the land within that block. So this is a farming land. Farming land, closed doors, and we have a hand. That somehow means remove. So I guess in a sense is probably during the non-busy farming season. I don't know, like the between farming seasons, when people don't need to work in the field, they stay behind the closed doors, and the hand, the labor, represent whoever can work on the farm. Like those labor hands are removed from the farmland. Like you take a break, you're not needed on this land at this time anymore. You stay behind that closed door. So that's my reading of cho. Cho means remove, like you don't need to be there anymore. Okay, T, okay, cho and T used together. So that is remove leather. I mean, I only saw that expression in this phrase, and it's the first time in my life I ever came across this expression. Hard to believe. Okay, so T, we have the wood structure, which is upward turning cup, downward turning cup, connected with a horizontal line. I mean, vertical line. That's our tree symbol. So I read it as a canopy, and this is a spacer to mean between the canopy and the ground level, there's a big space. That's the tree trunk, and that's our definer of a tree. It's not a bush close to the ground or shrub. It's a tree with a trunk, okay? And then the right side is D. D means younger brother. So Chinese, when we say siblings, brothers and sisters, we have to make a choice or to make it explicit of, is it your older brother or younger brother, older sister or younger sister? So we have 4 characters to describe your siblings in terms of age, sequence, and gender, right? In English, we only have brothers and sisters, only gender-based, but Chinese, we also have this age. So this among the 4 means younger brother, right? So younger brother pronounced as D is the sound maker here is D. Here it means T. I mean, it sounds like T, so it's definitely the sound maker here. I want to make sense for you here is the D image came from, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so we have this zigzag thing, looking thing in between. So mentally remove that. Underneath this, that's a rope. Okay, underneath this rope, we have this structure, and with this pointy edge and this pointer over here. So that's our weaponry. So ancient times weaponry commonly seen in the language. So it's the weapon most likely made of wood, and the pointy, like this is a staff, some wood part, right? And the pointy area could be, I mean, this could be a wood structure as well. The pointy ones are the metal, which could be, you know, the hurtful part. So we have this structure of weaponry, and then with a rope getting on top of it. So that somehow means younger brother. And according to scholar, that we have to imagine to interpret why rope on a weaponry on this is a younger brother, because the weaponry could, besides being a weapon, it's a wood structure. It's kind of like a staff, and roped around it start to have this ranking, have this rings of roping coming down. And when that rings come down, you can see the layers of the ropes, because ancient times, I guess, of course, there's no, what do you call it? Birth control like contemporary so easily. So parents probably have multiple kids at the same time easily, right? So besides the oldest, the first son is the big brother, right? All of the little boys after that is considered a D. I mean, depends on who the first person you're talking to. It could be the lowest rank, and then everybody else are good brothers. So here, it simply means there's a sequence in there, and this is not the top one. This is somebody roped around the stuff, and that is lower rank or later born. So, I mean, it's a kind of a jump. But for me, why this becomes a leather? Because leather made of wooden structure, and also have this, you know, leather around. This almost look like a leather thing, right? So have the ropes around them to connect different wood part so that it's safe to step on. My guess again. So this is another theory, like a why. So this is a wooden structure to make it clear. This is made of wood, and then it probably comes with some roping around it to make it stable, and that's the combination of leather. So yesterday we used migration map to mean 反客为主 to try to illustrate 反客为主 of you're moving to a new land and become immigrant, right? Start from ground zero, and then eventually you feel from this guest to the owner role transition. So people evolve, right? And immigration or migration is out of personal choice. You opt to go somewhere else other than your hometown or where you're born into. But here, human traffic is forced. This is not out of your choice. You're forced to be removed from your living environment with it, like from your social network, taken it out. And then there are all kinds of things to abuse and use your body. So in human trafficking scenarios, so the body can be used as labor, as even organs, and even like babies, like for fertile, not fertile, infertile, like what? Wait, what's the word for that? Like people who cannot have babies, to instead of adopting, right, through the legal process, somebody just buy a baby, and as beggars. So all these use are like using the body as something. It's like contemporary slavery, and the trafficking boat. I knew a little bit of history. So African Americans, basically, they are the descendants of this gigantic human trafficking back then, right? The whole African American population grew from this human trafficking event back in the 16th, 17th, 16th, 17th, maybe trickled down to 18th century because they were forced labor, and it's profitable to buy a whole boat of them, and African tribes capture and then transport and just systematically human traffic and trade, capture the labor. So that's contemporary, relatively contemporary slavery. So 上屋抽梯 why I paired it with that. So it's kind of capturing or trap a person to deprive them of their freedom, enslave them. And this is a strategy that could be used for that purpose. But for 36 stratagem, it could be like in a wartime, you trick your enemy into some location where you can remove the T, so they can get in, but they cannot get out anymore. And that way you can either capture or kill your enemy. So this was used as a wartime stratagem, but could be also applied to the human trafficking scenarios of capturing somebody by tricking them with, I don't know, like for children, it could be trick them with candies or whatever, or by force, just rip them away from mother. This drawn out as picture, as a graphic, it's super simplified, but I'm sure these are real life happened before and still happening today somewhere in the world. And we, as a YouTube viewer, and me here looking at these pictures, it looks like almost like a sanitized. It's abstracted. It doesn't look as bloody, but I'm pretty sure those are a lot of hearts broken, organs taken, so horrifying things that we're looking on this frame. I try not to think too deeply because it's hard to believe that we still have that in human life, society. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.